These are Kinefinity's new Active E and Active PL mount options, which screw directly into the front of their latest generation of cameras. Kinefinity cameras have always been fantastic when it comes to giving you lots of different lens mount options. Normally, they've been built around their Kine mount system, with a bunch of different adapters available to convert that Kine mount to EF or PL, LPL, even E-mount, and all of those still exist. But now, with the Edge 6K, Edge 8K, Mavo LF Mark II, and Mavo Mark II, the Kine mount comes off. In fact, the camera doesn't even ship with the Kine mount in the first place, it's an optional extra. Then, instead of having that Kine mount, you have the option of screwing these active E-mount or active PL mounts directly onto the front of the camera. Now this is similar to the way that Canon or Red do it, for example. It's nowhere near as fast as the adapters, but it is nice and strong and reliable. The active PL mount is much the same as the previous PL adapter that we've been used to on Kine cameras, but then it's PL, there's only so much you can do with PL, it's a very simple mount. It does have full support of Cook's Cook Eye protocol though, so with a lens that supports that, you'll get information passed from the lens to the camera and recorded alongside the clip as metadata. The big advantage here compared to the previous PL adapter is the strength. Now that this is screwed directly onto the body itself, it feels so much stronger and more confidence inspiring. And considering PL lenses are normally the larger, heavier and more expensive lenses compared to anything else on the market really, that is a pretty important improvement. The Active E-mount on the other hand is perhaps more of an exciting improvement over the original adapter version. The adapter was a passive E-mount as there was just no space in the flange distance for the Kine mount and an E-mount with electronics. So you got no communication at all between camera and lens, which meant you had to use manual E-mount lenses, which was very limiting. This new active mount though is completely different. You get full communication with the lens and it makes it feel just like using a native E-mount camera. You can fully control the iris from the camera body. The camera can read the focal length of the lens and even the focus distance, although there's no autofocus of course on Kinefinity cameras. Plus the lens gets power from the camera, so image stabilization works, and even the power zoom on our Sony 28-135mm works perfectly fine. All of which is very welcome news for Kinefinity customers, as in the past on the EF adapters, those can be a little bit hit and miss whether things like image stabilization will actually work. Everything here that I've tested so far with the active E-mount feels much more seamless and has worked perfectly. To attach a lens, you hold it into place and then turn the locking lever. So similar to what Sony do on the FX9, rather than twisting it into place like on the FX6 or FX3. So once it's in, it feels very, very strong and secure. But you do have to hold the lens in exactly the right place and line it up, which just takes some concentration. It is a bit slower than the twisting option. It's much easier though than with Kinefinity's older generation adapters for EF, which did have a similar system. With those, there was a problem where when you turned the ring, the lens would sometimes turn a little bit as well, but I haven't found any such problems here with that. So what about the regular Kine mount? Do you still need one, or do you just buy the camera with one of these? Well, that all depends on what kind of projects you do, what kind of glass you own, if you already own any of their mounting adapters, things like that. The benefit of the Kine mount system is how quickly you can change between those adapters. It's just like changing a lens to change your lens mount. But most of the time, people are just choosing one mount and sticking with it, perhaps changing from a stills lens mount like EF or E to use PL for the odd job here or there. So if that's the way that you like to work, or if you're interested in only using PL or E-mount glass, then the choice is clear. Go for one of these relevant active mounts and you're all set. And if you want to use EF, then you're going to have to go with the Kine mount and then the EF mount adapter Mark III, as there's no EF mount that screws onto the camera front, although I'd love to see one of those made. The complication comes with ND filters. The Edge 8K and 6K have built-in ND systems, so that's fine. But with the Mavo LF Mark II and the Mavo Mark II, these ones don't. So you might want to use the mount adapters which have an END system built into them, as they do both an EF and a PL version of those. So that could be a reason to use the Kinemount and the adapters on the regular Mavos instead of these active mounts. Or you could just use a matte box and filters. You know, the exciting thing here is just how many options Kinefinity are giving us with their cameras. Trying to choose which mount option is right for you from a big bunch of them is a great problem to have. You don't get this with any other camera system. This gives users the option to completely transform their camera for different jobs, which is very welcome. If you want to buy any of these Kinefinity products for yourself, of course, head over to ProAV, but let me know what you think of these new mount adapters in the comments. Would you prefer the reliability and the strength of these new active mounts, or would you prefer the speed of the mount adapters? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.